Hey, hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Soundboard Sundays. I'm going to put that, I'll link that real quick. Max, going to join us. Mr. S. McLands, Landscapes Boss Man? What's good? Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. What is good? Max will get you in the room.
Yes, sir.
My
Sound?
young man grown now. Oh, he must be talking to you. Strings, okay. We got Mizz Stryngz coming on in real quickly. Let's get
Sound
a request to join.
sounds good, right? You hear me
You
well?
sound good to me.
All right. Yes,
All right,
yes.
Mizz Stryngz, I just gave you a request to join. Hey, Mizz Stryngz, how you
Hey
doing?
y'all, how are you?
We're doing well, doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I'm kind of burnt out from a full week worth of this, that, and the other, but I'm here.
I understand. So listen, Mizz Stryngz, the show format is we start off, we give a little introduction. We do a book bar where we talk about, again, something that we learned, something that we read collectively, and then we're going to go right into it and let people know about this amazing person, Miss Tiandra Strings Presley today. All
Thank
right.
you.
So yeah. So guys, you guys know what time it is. My book bar is going to come from this book called Book Yourself Solid, the fastest, easiest, and most reliable system for getting more clients than you can handle. That's what I'm interested in
I like
at the
that.
moment. Yeah. Oh, it's an amazing book. It's an amazing book. So many of like entrepreneurs that I respect, coaches and friends, like recommended this book, and
Hmm.
I was like, all right, well, shoot, like they already done said it, so I'm gonna have to go get it. All right. So real quickly, all right, it's a little fable. I'll just read this really quickly, all right? So it's called The Old Man, the Little Boy, and the Donkey. And it says an old man, a little boy, and a donkey were going to town. The little boy rode on the donkey, and the old man walked beside him. As they went along, they passed some people who remarked it was a shame the old man was walking and the little boy was riding. The man and the boy thought, maybe the critics were right, so they changed positions. Later, they passed some people who remarked, what a shame. He makes the little boy walk. Then they decided they both would walk. Soon, they passed some more people who thought they were stupid to walk when they had a decent donkey to ride. So they both rode the donkey. Later, they passed some people who shamed them by saying how awful to put such a load on a poor donkey. The boy and the man said they were probably right, so they decided to carry the donkey. As they crossed the bridge, they lost their grip on the animal, and he fell over into the river and drowned. The moral of the story, if you try to please everyone, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
Facts.
Can't please everybody. Can't please
Facts.
everybody. So yeah, that's my book bar for today.
Okay.
Soundboard Sundays family.
I
Nice,
love
go
it.
for it.
You didn't have to say more than that. It spoke for itself.
Yeah.
So
Right.
basically, my book bar is from the book Profit First, and I highly suggest you guys reading this book. It's very powerful by Mike. I don't want to mess up his last name, Mike M. McCalwis, right? And it's at page 96, where actually at the middle of page 96, he says, I think by going slowly, I was able to see how Profit First could work, George explained. What it really came down to was I realized that at 2%, there was no excuse not to try it. Because if your business can't afford to set aside 2% of your revenue, it's probably not a business worth pursuing. So when I read that, it just meant for me, always got to be honest with yourself. Know your numbers and be
Right.
honest with yourself.
Right. That
Mm.
those both were nice pointers to point out from the books that y'all are reading. I think I heard that fable that you said a long time ago, so I
Yeah,
kind of knew where it was going.
yeah. That was I think it was like an Aesop's fable or
Yeah.
something like that. So But when I read it, I was like, man, oh my gosh, trying to please everybody is just, it's just not going to happen. And I found out in my personality that I would struggle with that, right? Like I'm really like into, you know, pleasing everybody. I mean, I think music people can be like that, you know, DJs and all, like you want to know how to shift the crowd and move the crowd and stuff like that, but it's just not possible to please everybody. So when you essentially niche down and you're a lot more clear, that's where the book is going. When you're niche down and you're a lot more clear about who you want, then you're working with people that actually give you energy and you're actually able to do your highest level of work for them, so everybody wins
Right.
In that specific position.
Right.
So guys, I wanted you just to let you guys know we're going to just chat for a little bit, you know, let everybody know who Stryngz is. We're going to ask some questions, and we want you all to ask some questions. 3:30, we're going to open up for Q&A at 3:30. If y'all don't ask y'all questions, a year from now, you're going to wish you asked your question today.
I love it.
All right. All right. So, so again, a little bit about the bio. I'm so curious about you. Do you prefer Stryngz or do you prefer Tiandra? Which or Miss Presley?
How did you hear of me? What name did you get?
Stryngz. Let's go with Stryngz. That's what it is. All right, Stryngz. So
I say
you're from
I'm big on branding.
Of course.
The only reason why it says, you know, Tiandra Presley, that's for the logistics and the legalities, you know, as far as my book, stuff like that. But Stryngz has been stamped and branded.
All right, well let me start there, because I'm super curious. What are the strings? I'm thinking pulling strings, or you play the violin. Tell me which one.
I pulled strings.
Neither. Okay.
But that's not how the name derived.
Help me out, yeah.
I don't know who I sent my bio to, my EPK to.
Right, Max.
So back in 2012, I opened my little storefront OBT in Orlando called Stryngz This. It was selling exotic dancewear. My original partner who was helping me out, it was supposed to be G-strings and things, but I didn't like that. I felt like from a marketing standpoint, that might be just too over the top as far as like G-strings. I didn't want that to be attached to me. If in fact I wanted to evolve the company as I did, I didn't want G-strings to be, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to be able to, you know, just transform the brand as much as possible. So instead of G-strings, I called it Stryngz This. And that's when I used to go out, and this was like 2011, 2012. I hit the strip clubs, marketing my store, marketing my brand. And then the name just, the strippers, the DJs, everybody just started calling me Stryngz or Stryngz This. Once I separated from that part of my journey due to technicalities and hate from my male counterparts in the city that were working with dancers, because I transformed it from from a boutique to an after hours lounge where the girls could come and go
shop.
Yeah, they danced at night, so I turned it into a lounge at night. So it was a shop and an after hours lounge by night. But I found a way to where, okay, they're not having to pay me as much money as they would have to pay a regular strip club, so they could come and pay me $25. They don't got to get naked. Nobody can touch them. It's the whole vibe. I'm such a nurturer that now at this point, the girls aren't even going to work at the strip clubs. They're waiting to 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning to pull up to that 830 square foot building.
Oh, you messing up people's money, Stryngz.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trying to.
Right.
So give me 1 second, y'all.
Of course.
All right.
So anyways, I don't know if we even okay, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, that's how Stryngz This came about. And then I started doing online promo and marketing with Mook Boy. And I dropped the things and just Stryngz just stuck. So that's what it was, Stryngz.
That's imperative to understand the pivot, right? You know, and also to think a lot further into the future than like, okay, is this, you know, what can I do to have this brand name travel beyond this scope of
Right.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever dealing business. I just had, came into some money, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, dang, I don't want to call it G strings and things. Like, I just can see that being a hindrance.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew I wanted to be bigger than that little store. I've always wanted to be, colossal. But I didn't want to just box myself in. So even with working with the dancers, I knew I didn't want that to be the end all be all either.
Right.
So I transformed, like, my email per se used to be Naked Hustle Gang. I'm like, oh, you can't have that being your email when you're dealing with corporate giants and corporate.
Corporate giants. Yeah.
They're gonna be on some, excuse me, especially when you're still in the growing phase. So by me still have been in the growing phase, Naked Hustle Gang, that could give them a world of, assumptions as to who or what I really was, or what I was trying to convey.
Right. Right. And so, I mean, I think about that, like, because I got some old homies, and when we were doing music, like a long time ago, and just kind of coming up in our 20s and stuff like that, they named their company, which is amazing, and it made sense when we was in our 20s. They named the company Like Blood Entertainment, right? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guys. But again, when you think about how to transition that in 20 years, where are you going with those type of things? And I see that people will, do name themselves stuff like for the time right now, but it's not like in 10 years,
Right.
am I still going to want to be, what I'm saying, like, get at these hoes, what I'm saying, entertainment. It might not make no sense. You know what I'm saying?
And that's like with me, this is my 10th year, praise to God. I
Yeah.
said, like, I am here 10 years later and I'm still in the game. Like, Stryngz is a household name, and I'm not talking just Orlando, Ocala. I'm talking like globally. Somebody has heard of me, know me, or I've done some work for it. Stryngz is, I'd be surprised at how I could go to any state sometimes and somebody has heard of me or seen me or, heard about me. Yesterday at the festival, the guy, shout out to Crow's Nest, he walked up to me, he's like, I follow you. And I'm like, yeah, I try to follow him back. And he's like, I was like, on what? Facebook or Instagram? He's like, let me tell you the truth. The reason I follow you is because I always hear, like, if Stryngz mentions your name, then you're such and such. I'm like, stop. I'm beyond humble, y'all. I don't know if y'all can tell that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like to be called a goat. I don't like to be called a boss. I don't like none of that type stuff. Like, I'm as big and confident as I seem, I'm extremely shy and humble. I have imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
like all of that stuff. So I was like, I get floored when people tell me stuff like that, as far as, like, they've heard about me and I don't know who they are. And I have to be reminded that you did all of that, so all of this could be happening. But I get long-winded. Y'all want to interject at any time, y'all can.
No. We just
We're here.
listening. Yeah, we just listening because a couple of different things that you said. I mean, it made me bring up something, or it made me think about something, which is, again, this level of humility and humbleness, and what I wanted to, because Max got some questions, but again, how me and my brother we operate is, Max is real structured. I'm gonna go with the flow, and when somebody even says something, it makes me think about something else, right? That I'm interested in. So what I wanted to know, one of the things that when Max was like, "Yo, let's have Stryngz come on," I didn't know who you were, right? And so I like that sometimes when I don't know who somebody is, so I can see what's that first impression that I actually get. And what I got from you was 100% genuineness, in your advocacy for artists, especially artists like, what I'm saying, for the neighborhood, who don't get,
Yes.
like they want to get, like, y'all, what it is. Like, they get raped the most, and they get raped the most on purpose because
They don't know.
They don't know.
And they have a serious veil of vulnerability over their face, and is so evident to the sharks and snakes and all of those people. It's evident to them that here's a hungry, vulnerable individual, and I'm gonna take advantage of them if they let me. If they don't
Right.
have an advocate per se that's there. So even people that I don't currently work with or I've never worked with, if they ask me questions and it's like I'm past the pick my brain for free stage because I used to do that
Yeah.
for a long time. I still am very lenient, but I try to help people so much on, bro, read the email that they just sent you. Read it 100 times. Look at that. Look at the grammar. Look at the non-punctuation. A label. Look at, okay, ask yourself, have you really put out that much work or that type of work that this big major label is emailing you directly?
Right.
So it's a lot of like variables that need to go into play when you like setting yourself up for the kill, basically.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, no. Like I just think that that's what I got. That's what I got from you. And again, like you just said, again, past the picking your brain for free. Here's my whole thing. Even with the picking people's brains for free, it's like this is what I've been saying, Stryngz, and this is why I'm like I got it. I just understood coaching, like for real, like this last year, right? Being with coaches, getting coaches myself, and all that type of stuff. But I'm just like, it's the same way as I built I built a lot of my, I guess, fan base doing music production, but I've transferred into coaching music producers, right? So the thing is like, I'm like, yo, like what happens when someone I'm saying I'm going to give somebody 100% of myself or 110%, and somebody's like, yeah, I'm only like, I want like it for free, or like there's all this like underlying resentment that can kind of come about, right? And so I'm just like, well, I know that. And not only do I know that, then if I'm not paying somebody what they're looking for I want all of your attention.
Right.
So what does that cost me to get all of your attention? Because I don't want you thinking about, your bills. I don't want you thinking about a husband, a wife, a baby. I don't want you thinking about anything else. I want you locked in with me. And again, if you have a price tag attached to the time, I'm like, yo, let me pay you what you're talking about, because now you're going to give me all that time that I need, and not that picking of the brain.
Yes.
Not the picking of the brain stuff, like trying to get that for hours of time, or trying to piecemeal the stuff together. I did not know how long it takes to piecemeal. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes to get where I got in music production, it takes about 19 years of just picking and piecemealing stuff together.
Come on.
So if you have the time to do that, if you have the time to do that, go ahead and do that. But a lot of the folks that we talk to are adults and stuff like that. But anyways, all right, Max, please ask Stryngz some questions, because I will keep chatting too. Yeah.
It's all good.
I love these type of interviews and conversations.
So the question I have is, how would you describe your journey as a music consultant, so to speak?
Okay, so I kind of just gave you a little bit of how I got into it. Well, I started out doing the promo with Mook Boy, who's a Florida artist, one of the Florida legends. Shout out to Mook Boy. And then I just started doing some little online stuff with different artists, just showing support. At this time, I'm not necessarily who I am. I'm building up to be who I am, but I'm big on building relationships and networking. So I would go attend showcases. I would damn near work for free at different showcases for people. I would pop out all along the Florida coast, Florida period, and go to networking events. Revolt when it first happened, coast to coast mixtapes, things, everything possible. I just stayed in the know and around certain people and building my network. My last situation that I managed was Tony Boy. Shout out to Tony Boy. Back in 2019 is when I wrapped that up, and I said, you know what? Being a manager kind of boxes you into dealing with one person, one or two people. You don't really get to manage too many people, or you get put in a non-compete clause or non-compete mindset. So I was like, I want to do something to where I'm still able to be the voice of the unheard, and at the same time, I could take every skill set that I have and that I know and pour in some of my resources, and now I'm able to help out whoever wants to come and book me for whatever package. I even make the packages, to where this person may have this budget, this person may have a bigger budget. You could pick your poison, basically. So I just came up with, I Googled a lot of stuff and see what the proper term would be and all of that. And I'm like, I'll be a music consultant. I was saying liaison. I'm pretty much just, I don't know what I am. That's just it. But my journey still is, I sometimes feel like I am being a manager because I can't help but manage.
Right.
I just don't like having that title because it just carry way more responsibility.
Yeah.
And I just no longer wanted to be attached to that amount of responsibility. So I wanted to be where no strings attached, pun intended.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I'm like, you come over here for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You could get a 30-day mentorship package. You can do this, or you could buy my book, just different little options that you can use of my service that is like pretty much curtailed to who Stryngz is. So that'll be, you'll get my expertise, but you're not locked in with me and I'm not locked in with you.
I like that. Look, I like that. And I'm about to give you a little quick idea because that's how my brain works. No strings attached needs to be merged. That needs to be merged. Oh, you got that? You got it?
Okay.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Look, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I love talking. Yeah. This is why we love just.
Yeah, bud.
No. We in good company. That's what. Exactly.
He's not playing, man.
Not playing. Like.
This is from like 2018, though. Oh,
yeah.
You're talking to a marketing, like, I'm obsessed with marketing and branding. So notice how I just threw no strings attached in there. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. I like that.
All Stryngz tag, so much can be done with it. She said, put it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt.
It's on a shirt. These is from an old birthday shirt.
No strings.
No strings attached.
That's no joke.
I like that. Okay, go ahead, Max. Because I'm interjecting. Go ahead.
It's all good. But I love that you talked about you did your due diligence from what I understood, and you've done your research. You were on the field. I saw a lot of street promo, which is something that a lot of entrepreneurs tend to neglect or even think it's an old concept. But that's very important. Street promo. It goes back to networking, right? And what would you say were how hard was it for you to network in a male predominantly industry?
Extremely hard. It's still let me tell you. Okay, first of all, like I think y'all have done y'all research on me. Y'all can see that I pretty much am at this point now. I'm getting the accolades and recognition and the stamps that I deserve. But I also believe in due time, and so it didn't happen overnight. It just happened over time, so that's where I am at this point. But it came with a lot of of course they're going to want to try to sleep with you. Of course they're going to take you seriously. Or when you got a gripe or when you have something that you disagree about, they're considering you angry or bitter.
A mad black woman, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I am an alpha female, even though I'm shy and humble with recognition sometimes. I know exactly what time it is. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm bold. I'm powerful. I'm strong, so I know what needs to be done, and I know that I can do it. And a lot of women we are really the machines behind a lot of stuff that is put out to make it seem like, the man has done it.
Right.
Reached out to, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of these big labels, they know who I am too. Shout out to QC, because I work with their marketing manager, Mr. Two Official. He gave me one of my first big steps up when I stepped out from the management part too. But I reach out to these labels who are headed by men a lot, and it's like sometimes it's just they just whatever. It's a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm watching men, and I be sharing them to my story. Shout out to Boom Man and JR McKee. I be reposting their stuff to my story, and like, y'all still ain't bought my book yet. The same exact things that they speak about and say, I've said it for years, I'm saying it now, yet because I'm a woman, it's not taken as seriously, or you're deemed to not know as much, or you just don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, bro, I probably know more than the people who y'all listening to.
Yeah.
Go to school for this. I'm self-taught based off my love for music and my love for people and my love for the underdog. So I don't know. It's been very hard. But again, like I said, for any woman that's on this podcast, this live, excuse me, never bring your bar down. Keep your bar up and make it even higher and make them come up to you. Trust me, they will. Do not go down. Continue to go up.
I love that. Yeah, no, like when you just said that, like when you said that, it's that's why I found a lot of commonalities in at least our drive for the why, right? I asked you that question in the DMs. I was like, what's your why? And I forgot to like even say who I am and what I'm even, because I'm like, yo, I'm like, yo, I met, and I forget that I've seen your stuff, but you don't have no idea who I am. Anyways, point is that that's a,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
But
exactly.
I was back to you though, and then I see y'all two were together. I'm like, okay, bet that's easy. All right, they together.
Right. Nah, and that's why, and you kind of explain the why too right now, which is my why I'm helping music producers at this specific point is because I'm like, yo, there was always some, and I talked to other music producer friends of mine who've been doing it for a minute. There was, kind of coming back up like 10, 15 years ago. There was always some like you always had to like sit underneath somebody, and it was always like nobody wanted to give you the game or make you or pay for it. You couldn't even pay for the game. It was just like, no, I got the keys, and until you like bring me some what did he say? Bring me some cheesecake from over wherever it was in that show back in the day. I'm not giving you anything. And I'm like, nah, like we got home studios now. So we got home studios. Stryngz, you there?
Wonderful.
Oh. See? Okay, hold on. Let me try to exit. Let me try to exit Stryngz out and get her back. Okay. Stryngz, we're gonna get you back in. All right, just send her a request. But anyways, the point is like there's all of these checks and balances, and so it's just like, yo, can we get past these checks and balances right now? And I think that it is like a new time where folks like us, even on this, on this live, are just like, look, like we know that like all the information that we have out there is Googleable, but why people want to spend the time is that we've gotten from point A to maybe point F already, and so we want to shorten that time frame for somebody else without all the strings attached.
Right.
Anyways, all right. So go ahead.
It's love, man. I love that.
Go ahead,
I was
Max.
wondering what's more important for you? Would you say more woman representation or more woman ownership?
I would say more women representation, because in doing so, the ownership is going to come. So we don't have enough women representation. And I say, even though it's happening, but it's not being represented. Like, you know what I'm saying? People, we don't know unless somebody brings it to the forefront. So ownership is easy, because there are lots of women right now who are owning lots that we don't know about. And the representation is why we don't know, because they're not being represented, they're not being highlighted, they're being kept in the back burner so that the male counterparts can reap all the accolades.
Got it. Love it. And I also saw, we know that you have a book out right now, right? And I need to get it. We need to get it. We need to learn more about it. Salute to you for that.
Bring it in the frame a little bit more.
Yes. Could you tell us about the book title?
There we go.
And what's the meaning behind the book title, and what pushed you to write a book?
It's my baby, y'all.
So proud of that. Yeah. Congratulations too.
Or they're used for diversity. That too. I like what she said in the comment section. or women are used for diversity clout, for
Facts.
sure.
Ooh. Oh yeah, and black women are used for diversity
Yep.
clout
Women
and
and
all of
black
that. Yeah.
women. Yep. All right. So let me pull some strings for you. First of all, that's my tag. That's just what I use, in regards to my business. Um, I'll tell y'all a funny story, but not funny. Hopefully, it's inspiring as to how this book came about. December of last year, I was over it. I was done. I was burnt out. I'm like, I'm done with these artists because I just keep running in circles with the same type of artists that I'm more passionate about their dream than they are. I'm putting a lot into them. We get up here and then they stop, and now we got to go back down. But I'm really trying to push you because if you make it, we make it. So
Right.
I was just burnt out, and I said, God, what else do you want me to do? I love this. I don't want to do anything else. This is my sole career, my sole means of income. This is my only, source of income, and it's my passion. So I know you're not about to steer me away after 10 years of this to go work at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't bring
Yeah.
me this far. It's true. You did not bring me this far to leave me here.
Yeah.
So I said this to him, and I had my talk because me and God, you know what I'm saying?
Like that.
We
There
do
you
our
go.
big one. I don't, that's a whole nother thing. I'll get into that another time if y'all want to talk about that type of stuff. But my own personal relationship with God, and he was like, stop drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I was like, stop
Wow.
drinking.
Come
Not
on, not
that
the
I'm an
drink. Yeah.
alcoholic, like I'm not an alcoholic, but with the industry that I'm in, of course, stepping out to the clubs or
Right.
going to different events, and then like even just sitting here at my little home office setup when I'm working, I might just want to have me a little drink to the side.
Yeah.
And so I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was like, for real, stop drinking.
Yeah.
but
Nah, 100%.
but over here, I'm like, how do you want God to fix this? You keep asking him, you know,
Yes.
you ask him to help you, then he give you the answer, and you're like, no, another answer,
No,
no,
not
another
that one. Not
answer,
that one. Yeah.
not no another answer. And I've done that a lot, and so I'm like, you know, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, somebody in the
Screenshot.
comments. Um, so I was like, dang, I've been down this road where I ask him for guidance, and I just be like, nope, another one. Y'all, January 2nd, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna do a 90-day fast of no alcohol. I didn't think I was gonna make it 2 days.
Mm.
I made it the first 3 days, and I got up one night. It was about 10 o'clock, and I just went to my desk, got some paper out, and just started jotting some stuff down. And I'm like, let me figure out another way to make money, get to these artists. They always asking me, picking my brain, trying to this, trying to that. Then you got the
Yeah.
artists that can't afford my bigger packages. So let me figure out a way to make this, compile this into something that if you can't get this, at least you have like a roadmap that you
Right.
can use. And okay, so day 5, I was on strings 8. By day 6, I was on strings 10, and it's called strings instead of chapters
Mm-hmm.
because I want you to lace them up and go on your journey.
I got you. I'm with you 100%.
Man.
So I
On
wrote the
brand.
yes, I wrote the ebook, and it was digital because I'm like, okay, financially, I don't even know. I didn't Google too much or nothing. I'm like, first book I ever wrote. I never thought I could. My life story's coming soon, but I'm like, damn, I just wrote a book. I end up the next night going to an event. It was a mixer or something, and there was a lady there who was a freaking book person, publisher,
Publisher.
business
Yeah.
that has done her own stuff. So I'm like, you are showing out. This is me talking to my homie up there. I'm like,
Right.
look at you, because I was like, okay, I'm done. Now I don't know where else to go or what to do. We talked. I paid her money. By the next day, my book was formatted, published, and I got my copyright.
Mm. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yo, can we have some claps up in the chat?
Yeah.
Because again, I don't think that people understand. I don't think that people understand
Wow.
how this stuff
A
is.
registration,
Ooh,
Amazing. Amazing.
copyright, claim it. Yep.
let's talk about it. Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. So I'm excited to tell that story because I feel as though that's my testimony of, not to cut you off, sweetie,
No,
but
no, you
that's
fine.
my
Yeah.
testimony of, thank y'all. I see all my nieces and nephews in the comments. I love y'all. Because they call me,
Yes.
that's my other term of endearment in the industry.
Turn up, Ozzy Strings team. Turn up.
Yeah. But it's just, that's my testament of, you know how they say, you know, God created the heavens and earth 6 days, 7th day he rested. I felt like that was my thing, like boom, a book in 6 days.
Right. Look, the point for that is, I mean, one point for that is, right, is like he made us in his image. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time we forget what kind of power that we actually have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of always, I found out that there's a fine line between like praying and procrastination.
Correct.
So you could be sitting there praying a lot and be like, all right, please show me this. And it's like, all right, well, here you go. Just
No,
like you
thank
said earlier.
you.
And
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, not that way. Not that way. How can I? Because here's the thing is that to be that different person, this is what my coach told me. It hit like a ton of bricks. Simple information, hit like a ton of bricks. To be that person that you desire to be, you are not that person today. So you physically, mentally, and even spiritually have to become somebody different to be that desired person. But it starts off with having that vision.
You
That's
just gave
deep, man.
chills. Look at
That's
my eyes.
deep, man. Yeah.
Right. It starts off with that vision. So the fact that you're able, like, you actually just unleash the godlike quality that's been put inside of you by actually planning, strategizing, executing. Then once you do that, you like there's an instant gratification of, yo, look what I accomplished. Then you set up, like, if it never happened, I was just talking about this. If it never happened, like, there's so much, if the Most High puts something into your spirit and you don't do it, like, it's going to stay circulating around in your brain. It's, you know, you're going to have different stuff, but it's going to stay circulating around in your brain, and it's going to keep bothering you. And eventually it's going to bother you to the point where it's going to cripple you because
Right.
you're scared of not doing it or something, and you need to just actually do it. Whether you don't know what levels of success it's going to meet, but if you don't actually do it, it's worse that you had that idea and you didn't act on it than to act on it and it doesn't meet the immediate success that you think that you had. So
Like,
congratulations to that. Yeah.
thank you.
Amazing.
Like what she just said, action is rewarded, and that's true because I felt
Yes.
God rewarded my obedience with focus. Because all before, and next Friday will be my 90 days.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I be so talking junk and so, but I'm so proud. Let me tell y'all what I'm on right now.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Wait.
Oh, that's the free, right? Or fray, yeah. I like it. I like it.
Alcohol removed wine. And it just,
Yeah.
I just started this last week, but it gives you that placebo, like you really vibed out in it. So I ain't even tripping. Like, I really don't care no more, you know? And now I feel like now I'm at the point where I'm in control of the alcohol. The alcohol isn't in control of me. Like, I don't got to go to a club and feel like, oh, I got to get a drink to vibe. I'm a natural vibe. Anyway, I was a cheerleader, prom queen, home class clown. I'm a vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's nothing. And people
Right.
don't around me anyway. I'm not a party pooper. So the alcohol was just the extra added incentive to who I am.
Right.
At this point, now I'm on some like, child, I'll get it if I want. Now I can be the designated driver.
Exactly. What I was gonna say is that it just made me think about how I got a son, and he's about to turn 1, and so I'm literally just watching my son and how he's like kind of walking on some stairs or whatever like that. I mean, I'm obviously like right there watching him, but the point is that he doesn't know that I'm like. He knows that I'm there, but he doesn't know that I'm actively like making sure that he don't fall off and bust his head.
Right.
And so a lot of the time, that's what the Most High is doing with us because we're his children, right? You know what I'm saying? Is that he don't know, like, so you don't know that the drinking could have been your DUI in a couple of days or weeks. Right.
I have what's the name right here?
What?
Um,
Oh, a scar. Yeah.
I had to have major neck surgery. I have an artificial vertebrae in my neck. That didn't
Oh,
get caused by a drunk driving night, but two accidents, and one of them was for me falling asleep at the wheel from going
Mm.
up, pulling over, trying to take a nap, but not my body just shutting down from doing so much ripping and running. So I've had my experiences with all right now. So I've, like you say, I feel like that all just playing a major part in I'm giving you your warning before complete destruction because you've had several warnings, but this is a
Right.
big one. So, and that's how I look at it. And I look at and I try to tell this to other people when I'm very big on like a peaceful journey right now. So I try to tell people, well, I tell people, don't look at anything that's negative or you feel is negative or bad or stuff that's like, you think the cloud is raining on you. Try to find the good in everything. Try to find a little piece of good in everything to propel you to look for the better. So I don't wallow in my sorrows. I don't look for negativity. And if I do, if it's something that I try to figure out a way, like I took my girls out to brunch earlier before we got on, and the service was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that the young lady had to be new
Mm.
ever before. But instead of like not giving her a tip or saying take this off, I left her a tip and I flipped the receipt over and I just gave her little extra tips. Hey love, it's gonna get easier, but here's a few things you should try. And I just signed it with love from table 22. And I just point that out just to say like you don't know what anybody is going through. She could be really going through something at home. She might be sleeping in her car. Anything that could be going on that got her mind totally away from work right now. And the little act of humanity that you display will not only help you, but it'll help that person.
Where did this love for people? I'm trying to figure out. Are you are you the big sister? Are you the big sis
I'm
in
about
your fam? You say what?
yes.
Oh, you the big sis. Okay.
Nah,
Okay.
that's like you are just whew, you calling me out.
No. I'm feeling your energy and stuff like that, and that's the really good part about it. And because I'm like, I'm like, you're the big sis. Because I'm like, where is this? Where is this? Like, yo, I gotta make sure people are good. It comes from and it usually has a deep story, involved with it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, in a nutshell, without getting too deep, you know
Nah,
what I'm saying?
because the greatest human act is to inspire. And one thing about me, I'm always telling my story. So we got time. This might be one
Yeah.
of extendo.
This one, and this one I'm just talking. And real quickly before you go into that, guys, listen. We don't, we don't do free brain picking, but these are the times. So I'm telling you all just once again, while we got Sister Stryngz on here, a artist consultant, artist developer, brand engagement, humanitarian, author, ask some questions. Do not get lost in just sitting back, just checking this thing out. This is lively. This is happening live. So we want people to be able to ask those questions again, but in a proper format, because otherwise then it's going to cost to talk, and that's a good thing too. But while we have the sister here, because we're just gonna keep asking some questions until the time run out. But anyways, press 1 if you want to go live real quickly. If you have something, if you're focusing on your journey and you need like one little extra nugget, right now, press 1 if you want to go live, because this sister right here has got a lot of compassion, just like we do, for the independent artists, the artists that are the emerging artists, emerging music producers. So again, press 1. Do not be scared.
The title of the subtitle is a starter guide for the upcoming artist. So it doesn't just say for the artists or for musicians. It's for the where my heart lies. So
it's for the upcoming artists.
But I want to answer the question right now. The question.
Wait. Okay, I got a question for you. Miss Lady Sade or Sadie asked the question. I'll ask you that after that. Okay.
I I have not only had to be I am a big sister, but growing up, I grew up down south before we grew up in Miami before I moved to Ocala. My mom was on drugs. I had to take care of my mom. I had to take care of my siblings. We got separated
Mm.
to foster care, bounced around from family to family. As I grew up, I was married young, had a child out of infidelity young. This is just to let y'all know people that may seem polished to y'all walk around with scars and bruises. So don't
Mm.
everybody as a polished product.
Yeah.
I've slept in my car. I've been on drugs. Um, I've been homeless. I've been broke. Like anything you could think of has happened to me. And
Mm.
I want anybody watching this to understand and know I'm a felon. I've done crimes. I've been to jail. I am so far removed from that stuff, and God has taken me so much higher because I became grounded in my faith with Him. Not what somebody was teaching me about Him, but what I was connecting with God on a whole different spiritual than what somebody was trying to force me to understand.
Mm. That is heavy.
Powerful.
That's the whole point. It's like it's always the it's always the I happen to read a text from I mean like I read something, and this gentleman was just talking about like it's always the people who were really like doing some stuff back in the day that just want to live peacefully like right now, and it's all the people who just want to who ain't never really been off the porch and they just want to flex. And I'm like, yo,
I definitely.
like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand why the folks don't get the message from the, you know what I'm saying, from the OGs and the, you know what I'm saying, about, yo, like I don't understand why it's so difficult to be like, this is where this is going to head you because I was there, and I can't understand that. So anyways, digressing from that point. Miss Late, go ahead, Max.
I want to read a testimonial from Mr. Two Official, who's from he's a marketing manager at Quality Control Music, right? And I need you, once I read the testimonial, I want you to tell the people who are watching this live what do they want to get from your experience working with them and just you as a person. So he says, if you're not networking with her, if you're not networking with her, is you not official. You is not too official. And then he says, number one, I promise you, number one, real street grind, real network, real shake hands. And he says, really give it to the DJ, really put you on, really promote, really work the streets.
Mm-hmm.
She might not take you to be number one, but she's gonna put you in a position to get there.
Yes, that's I love too. That's my big bro for real. Like he took a chance on me. I was standing. I went down to Revolt 2019. I had just quit working with Tony Boy for reasons outside of Tony Boy. And I was so like just mad, but I put my game face on like I always do, and went to an event that Fat Boy Rhyme and Two Official was at. Well, Two Official was a part of one of the biggest labels that I saw out that I wanted to be a part of. So I'm like, boom, I'm about to take advantage of this opportunity like I do. I walk up to him while he's talking to somebody. And I just, excuse me, how are you? My name is Stryngz. Like that whole little move alone, he was like, what? So from there, we have been like this. And it Pete told me happy birthday last year in my comments. But even though we don't talk, or me and Pete met like 2 years ago at Revolt, where I stopped him and Diddy. I was like, wait, let me get these selfies. And he smiled at myself because obviously he knows who I am. I'm always working. Two Officials always promoting me and posting me and talking about me. So that's why I say keep busting your ass. Don't worry about who ain't saying they watching. They watching. And don't worry about who isn't watching. They're watching too.
There you go.
100%. I'm gonna try to bring on Miss Lady Sade. I hope I'm saying that right, beloved.
Okay.
She had a question. I just sent you a request to come on live. She said, absolutely. My question is, what advice would you give for a bounce back, but I want her to actually ask this question.
Like,
Yeah, live. You know what I'm saying? Let me send her that invite once again. I just sent you that. I sent you that invite.
There you go.
that's baby label. Now, let me stop. It is. I can't go. Oh, she said.
Oh, okay. I can't go live. Okay. Well, no
So
worries. Yeah,
to
go
answer
for
your
it.
question about the bounce back, again, you got to look at everything, every reason why you want to bounce back. Like, look at your current state and look at the situation you in, and know that you ain't comfortable there. You don't want to be there forever. So now, what
Right.
the hell can I do to get me out of the situation? I don't care if it's giving yourself short-term goals, accomplishing something in a week. Okay, I'm gonna go get a job, or I'm gonna ask so and so, can I stay with them for 2 months, or I'm gonna try to move somewhere differently. The understanding of your why too. Yes, that, when you realize, like, I ain't comfortable here, you have no choice but to catapult into a bounce back. And as far as and with that, sometimes it's gonna cost people, places, and things. That was
Mm-hmm.
me. Like, I
Right.
had to remove myself from people, places, and things in order for me to get a complete control back of my life. Growing up, I always heard, "Oh, you're gonna be just like your mama." So when that
Mm.
phase in my life that happened to me, where I'm doing drugs because of a dude, and I lost my shop, that caused me to want to do the drugs so I can escape the failure that I was experiencing, which really was just a lesson. But I had to put
Right.
a kid over here, a kid over there, and shout out to my kids, because they have been my biggest supporters, and they don't see anything wrong, because that was just a small time in their life. But to me, it still kills me to this day, and that was over 12, 13 years ago. And I hate it because I felt like I let them down by becoming just like my mama. And I love
Yeah.
that too, but all of that was my why. All of that was my reason to bounce back. And my resilience comes from the type of things that I've had to keep fighting my way literally out of since birth. So
Mm.
No,
I
no,
tell
true.
you can either become a victim or victorious. And I chose to become victorious each and every time.
Since,
Powerful, man.
yo, see, this what I'm saying is like it for me it always goes deeper than music because I'm a musician, a music producer, moving into the coach space, but I'm also a historian and a very really deep lover of my people. So
Hmm.
like the stories that I've heard about my people around the country, just it's phenomenal that people are still here. After
Hmm.
all the stuff that everybody's been. I got a real quick question. Are you like do you have any Caribbean background or any like African background or anything?
Are you a psychic?
No, but here
If
I
my
mean
daughter was in here right now to hear you ask me that, my 19-year-old, she'd be like, "Don't ask her that." Here's the thing: my grandfather doesn't know his real father, and
right.
he was born in Miami, of
Hmm.
course, one of the most Caribbean melting pots
Yep.
around, in the United States. And to this day, I'm always telling people I'm Haitian because I feel like
Yep. It's
cheekbones are so Caribbean, like some type of way. There's some Caribbean somewhere.
it's some real strong cheekbones in there. And then not even to take away from like the Seminole Indians and all that type of stuff, because you had a bunch of like our people mixing with the Seminole Indians when they were like running away from slavery and stuff like that. So there's a lot of roots and things like that down in Florida. Gosh, Max, did you have something to ask? Because I had something else to ask.
You can ask. Go ahead.
Okay, so can you tell everybody what was that moment where you were like, I've had enough? The actual moment where you were like, I've had enough
I think,
of what I'm doing. Not those, yeah, go ahead.
and I'm just being so transparent, as y'all can see, I already am. It was just one of those times where I'm literally sitting in a hotel room with somebody that I know, if I wasn't, if I was my regular self, I wouldn't be on this type of vibe. And I'm like, mm-mm. I got my son, my oldest son, shout out to him, he's 24 now. My baby boy is 23, who made me a grandma. And then my 19-year-old, she rode the whole ride. We ended up sleeping in cars, couches, floors, whatever. And then my baby girl, I felt so horrible because I went to her daycare. So it was two moments. I went to her daycare and I go to sign her out. I tell her I'm taking her, and they're like, "You can't." I said, "Excuse me," because I had let her grandma on her dad's side and her dad's girlfriend, well, that side, just get her while I was going through my whatever.
Yeah. Safe
I,
place. Yeah.
yeah, I went to go get my baby. She was 3, I think, at the time. And I wanted to take her, and they were like, "You can't." And I said, "Excuse me." Mind you, there was no court documents, none of that stuff signed up. But on the paperwork, I was not even down as a person to pick up. I was like, I want to say they probably told, "Don't let me in." To be honest, with a part of what I was going through where I was kind of losing it, I could see why they probably felt they were doing a justice for my baby, thinking like they wanted to protect her. But the love I have for my kids, can't nobody protect none of them the way I'm gonna protect them, no matter what I'm going through. So I
Right.
remember this day so vividly. I grabbed Brooklyn up and I put her on my hip, and I was like, whatever y'all. I walked out that daycare, and I walked slowly out the daycare, and I was like, whatever y'all got to do, do it. Call whoever you need to call. I took her back, and she never been back to them ever since. But that moment right there of having somebody telling me I can't get my child
That you birthed.
that I birthed, because I already
Mm.
went through that like years before with some shit with my three first set of kids. She's the baby. With the three older kids, where the school, my son said I was gonna feed him the alligators. DCF took my kids. Now here I am having a panic attack. I go crazy because you're
Mm.
making
Well, hold on. Why your son say that though?
they, instead of them calling me, he's 5.
Yeah.
We went to a park and it said don't feed the alligators. I'm on some joke. All right, I'm gonna feed you, just kick
Yeah.
the bull. He goes and says that to the teacher. She don't call me or express a concern to me. They immediately call DCF. DCF takes my kids. Now I go down there, I skits out, I tear up their building and office. I've been through a lot, if y'all can't tell in
Right.
our interview. And so that
Yes.
right there was just like, wait a minute. It's just too much of people trying to tell me what I can't do with what is the only thing in this world that belongs to me and God, which are my children. So this
Hmm.
is the only thing that I know I have domain and dominion over is my babies. And you're not gonna tell me I can't take them. So that moment right there, I was like, you know what, boom, I'm about to move away for a few months, get myself together, and I did that. And I've been good, clean, straight since like 2014 or into 2013, and back on my jump.
Oh, amazing. That's
Wow.
absolutely, yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Like, it's an amazing story, and I think that it's imperative. Like, it is your story. Like now we're all, for the folks, you got your whole team on here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the strings team. But for the folks who don't know you and the folks who are going to watch this on a replay, um, these are some of the things that it takes to to be at this level where Strings is at. And just like you said earlier, it's like people always are like, yo, I want to be a billionaire, but people don't know what you got to do to be a billionaire on a work level, and maybe even on an unethical level where you might not even be able to kind of come back from that mentally,
Right,
or how it might destroy you.
right.
Would you be good with like $500,000 a year? Like, really, would you be good like, with a residual of so I just think that, okay, oh shoot, this is my last question. My last question is this, is that what do you think that it is that the artists, you said in the beginning that like they're not immediately gonna, like, you got the lower ticket off, you got the lower ticket offer, which is the book, you know what I'm saying, which is the roadmap. Why do you think
Let me show y'all too.
that?
It's
Yeah, go
interactive,
ahead.
so you can. It's short. Not to cut your question off, but I'm just showing it
No,
here.
no, yeah.
They're short, straight to the point, but the information that is inside of this is costly if you do these things. So it gives you some tips and tells you what to do, and then it offers you the interactive part, and it's like a journal, so you can keep it and go back and look at it and see what you need to do, have done, or we'll do as soon as you can afford to. But that book, man.
Life changing.
Crystal said, yeah, Love Crystal 92 said, once people try to strip you of your rights, you realize you have some. Wow, that's amazing. and then we don't know what we have till it's gone. That's 100%.
Right.
Oh, Stryngz is getting a little spicy.
Jeez.
Stryngz is getting a little spicy.
I'm feeling a part two. I don't know about you. I feel like
yeah, I'm like,
man.
hold on. We at least gotta like. All right, Stryngz, let me get you back in here real quickly. Man,
wow.
Stryngz, please send another request. Oh, okay, here we go. Hopefully we can get. All right.
My bad, y'all. I don't know.
You're over getting spicy. You're internet spicy out here.
I'm trying to read the comments, and as I'm trying to read the comments, the thing go down and y'all disappear.
It's gone. No. So what I was just saying is that because there's obviously artists that understand. Or matter of fact, a better question is this: is that when is an artist actually ready to take full advantage, of your services, that you provide? So in their journey, when have you usually seen them, when have they been doing, and what do they need?
See, for me, I'm the person that I tell people, a lot of artists are trying to follow the formula that they think they see on social media, which is, oh, I got a manager, hit my manager up. Oh, shows, but no, I'm your boot camp, your development. I'm where you come through to help you learn the things you need to learn in order to go out and start building up engagement, exposure, teaching you how to hit the scenes to get your brand and your name awareness. Basically, everybody ain't ready for a manager, so get a me. So that's with whoever.
Yeah.
With each person, I deal with each individual artist based off where they are in their career. So everybody ain't ready to get no shows booked. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or everybody ain't ready for interviews. So for that, we'll just talk a little bit. I teach you how to clean up your page. I teach you how to interview. I send you to some showcases. Basically, my thing is called the Mr. Miyagi effect. You know how in Karate Kid, where Daniel did not understand why he was painting fences and waxing cars until
Right.
So I'm that channel that you go through to get, to that level. And then and I just want everybody to understand it's not gonna happen overnight. Even what y'all think are overnight sensations, they are not. You're not seeing the wounds and the scars, you're seeing the polished product. You're seeing the healed, entity.
Yeah, and
Do you offer networking training on a personal professional level for non-artists? Actually, to my surprise, I do. Like I have people, I have a few interns and I have a few mentees right now who I give life coaching just on a day-to-day basis. On like I have a few people who've bought the book that aren't in the music industry, and they tell me of how it's helped them get their business correctly structured, and so on.
That's what
I
you
love
make
that.
it. I love it.
Yeah, I love that. Gosh, what you just said ended up making me think about something, but I forgot about it. And oh, right. About the fact that I thought about the fact that like I heard Young Dolph, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Young Dolph.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. So, but again, he said that it takes about 200,000 to break a single. What do you think about those?
That's
one single.
That because again, even though I represent the upcoming artists, I'm also over here in these offices too. So, and even also right now, radio is good, but radio is kind of being beat out by streamings. So, just marketing for rollouts, commercials, ads, a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, you'll go through some radio just to add for that, exposure and engagement. But it does take a lot of money. Videos, travel, hotel, wardrobe, paying your employees. That's when they say that they speaking on all of those graphic designers. They're speaking on a whole plethora of components that it costs, that it takes for the cost of one record.
Just one record. Like
That's
some
wild.
people don't know that when people go on or are invited to go on tour, a lot of the time the actual artists going on tour or being invited to go on tour got to pay for their own stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, they ain't getting nothing.
They don't say that though.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
What they're getting is the opportunity. And sometimes you get these people who are so pig-headed and don't see that fact. You're getting to go open up for a already mainstreamed artist or the artist who already has a buzz. Go. You know what I'm saying? If you got to go and eat that and pay for your own stuff, because guess what? Where you might be next year is in the same place this person is now.
Exactly.
But it's put in the sacrifice, the dedication. I don't know if I already mentioned it. I'm a felon. I hit the road. I had to ask permission. I still did that, and I took those long nights, early morning. I paid for my hotel plenty of nights. I paid for my own food, but I showed up and showed out, and that was back in 2017. I got off 2020. I did 18 months of a 3-year suspended sentence on some doing what I had to do for my kids. Just not. I do not condone criminal activities. Let me throw that disclaimer in there. But anything I've ever did was from here. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Heartstrings. That's another. This was last year. It's by collection. There were 12 of these made because my birthday is on February 12th. So this is a collector's. But anyway, my heart.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of I don't have no excuses. So when I don't have no excuses, I don't look for nobody else to have excuses. If you got to go do this big show right here for free, get your ass out there and do it.
That's crucial.
I love that. I wanted just to talk really quickly about your book and about the fact that you said that there are small pieces, but they're interactive, and it's so imperative because books can be real long-winded, and you just like there's an actual science to reading a book and actually essentially indexing the book so that you're able to go back and go get the information. But when it's a lot like shorter and a lot more palatable, should I say, and then it has action steps, palatable.
The book is so palatable.
Exactly. When it's palatable, people can actually take action, and I think that's the most important. That's the most important step is with music creators is actually taking action and making it the easiest that it can possibly be. I got this last question for you, and Max. I don't know if you got one more question.
Yep, I got it.
So let's talk about loss aversion, right? What is an artist? Do you work with music producers as well, or is it just specifically like recording artists?
Barely. I mean, I know producers and stuff.
Okay.
Look, that's why I'm like, wait, what did you say?
Oh, Max, we got a little bit.
You good?
Okay. Yeah.
You good?
Okay, word. So loss aversion, right?
Yeah, I've never.
What? All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. All right. Loss aversion is if you don't get your stuff together, your kids is going out of the door. You're gonna be separated from your whole family and everything like that. That's loss aversion for you to get your together, for you to get your stuff together. So, what is the real loss aversion if artists don't take advantage and
they'll be
work with you?
About. It's you know how many people trying to rap or trying to do R&B or trying to be producers, graphic designers. You got to be consistent, and you got to overly believe in your dream to the point where everybody else can't help but believe in it.
Yep.
That's where with me, I never forget back when Instagram first became like crazy and I was doing the shop and people would see a post from me 10 times in a row on their timeline. I'm like, you might as well delete me.
Yeah.
But that is what made me who I am. Like, that's how I branded myself. That's how I trademark who I am. By I'm going to embed myself in your brain some type of way. I stuck with my color scheme. I used to have this little strings and things sign I throw up. They just knew what it is. Strings. Everybody, no matter where or what. I used to do this thing. I would stand on top of stuff and just take pictures of me being out about somewhere, standing on top of something, throwing a symbol. And you got to do that too. Like, these are just early term me.
Nah, I'm with you. I mean, this is like, I mean, what's crazy is that it's not even crazy. It's amazing. It's amazing because you don't have like this so-called professional background, but a lot of the times the people who like might have went to school for marketing or have their MBAs. They're kind of already, they're stuck in the box, and what it actually takes to be outside the box is the unorthodox, you know, self-studiers.
That's what
you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you right now, working with me, you're gonna get an unorthodox individual. I can give you a little, you know, a tidbit of what you can expect, but other than that, pay me and let me do my job.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me.
So,
Oh,
go ahead.
Lil Drip said he wanted to go live. Really quickly, guys. We can't keep this this sister on forever. That's what I'm just saying. Little big.
She's coming back, I think, huh?
She should be coming back. She should be coming back. I don't know what just happened. Yo, they don't want Stryngz to be talking on here. Like,
man, IG's hating.
I have time.
I just hating on you. Yeah.
Bring Lil Big Drip on.
Lil Drip, if you get back in the building, family, you know what I'm saying, we'll definitely, man, bring you on.
Man.
Gosh, I forgot even what we were just kind of like talking about right there.
Analysis paralysis.
Analysis paralysis. Yeah. So when you talk about, again, that, like, so here's the thing is that whenever we're thinking about loss aversion, because I was talking about that too, just in some mentoring, coaching and stuff like that, but it's like asking the why like 3 times. So they'll be forgotten about. Why do people not want to be forgotten about?
Because everybody want to be remembered.
Everybody want to be remembered. And why do everybody want to be remembered?
Because there's been so much, there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? To be known and liked and loved and remembered. There's so much put on that being the best thing in the world. That's why everybody try to go viral. That's why everybody wants to be known, because there's so much attention put on people who are well known, well loved, well liked, celebrity status, the #1 in this, the #1 in that. Look at around you, period. In NBA, NFL, nobody cares about #2.
Right.
Even though they work just as hard. #2 is not that far from #1.
It's not, yeah.
It's true.
But there's so much attention and so much pressure put to be #1 that it's like that's just the only place I can be. Not knowing that if you work just as hard to become #2 and then a little harder, you can eventually get to #1. But don't just, I'm fine with where I am as far as creating my own lane. I'm not gonna say that I don't aspire to be at the top of the game. I'm not trying to be #1 in it.
Right.
Again, that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure, yeah.
Now I can't fuck up, excuse my language. Now they're watching my every little move. Like, I like where I am because, like, I can't be dealt, like, messed with. People know my work. And like what my boy Bigger said, notoriety is when they know your work. They know my work. Like, I don't even like the famous term either, but I'm known already. But my work,
they know you. Yeah.
They know me. I don't do like these commercials, or I'm not always in somebody's comment section, book me, book me, book me. My work, and that's why I aim to do the best work possible with each person, each client, each outside person, each person that may play a factor, each person on somebody's team. I'm always setting out to leave the best impression possible, because word of mouth is what travels. And right now, nobody uses phone books no more. People barely speak. So now a telephone is $1 billion tool. Right. Word of mouth is the other $1 billion tool. You know what I'm saying? So these two things put together is what essentially is the marketing strategy for everybody and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, now people will Maya Angelou, what she say? She said people will forget what you said, will forget what you did, but they won't forget how you made them feel.
Yeah. That's a bar.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, little Big Drip, I gave you, I sent you a.
She said first impression is everything. In Stryngz 6, it says, as the saying goes, a first impression is a lasting one. So you better make it count.
There you go. Strings chapter 6. Well, string 6.
Y'all
Yes.
better get that book.
Y'all got to get the book. Little
Wait.
Big Drip, I sent you an invite to go live. Waiting on you, bruh.
He's an artist that I work with. He's super dope out of Tampa.
Yeah, we need we need the folks to come on and, you know what I'm saying, again, like, because Max is in Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
I'm in NC.
Oh,
Yeah,
So it's international
yeah.
connection.
So we international. It's the best time right
For
now.
real.
Like,
where are you?
Montreal.
I'm in NC. I'm in NC, North Carolina.
All right.
Like the Greensboro area, but I'm originally from Washington D.C. So, you know, I grew up in like the.
From you.
You said what?
I get DMV area from you.
Oh yeah, 100%, like 100%. But yeah, no, like I'm trying to see if, because we can't keep on forever, guys. So listen,
I'm about to go. Cool.
yeah. So but all right. So my last question, unless we get a little Big Drip in here, is what is Mizz Stryngz? What is Mizz Stryngz 5-year prediction?
Oh man, my 5-year prediction is to have a huge firm where I am no longer asking to be a part of any tables or be bought. I am my own table. Like I don't. I'm working hard enough to get to the point where I can amass the finance, though. You know what I'm saying? Or the relationships to where I don't want to be on nobody's label. I don't want to be a part of nobody else's team. I want people to be a part of my team. So I still want to do my AR development, music consulting, whatever it is I do, but I want it under my umbrella. So yes, I am the table.
I am the table.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's where I plan on being in the next 5 years, is my own office building. My little room setup is cool too. It's cozy and whatnot. But I want my own office building. I want several, like I want a southeast region, a northern region, a out west, like I want that. But I want it to be based off my mantra, just what I represent as an individual and as a brand. And what I can do for the artists on that level, because we don't have a lot of means for the artists. They don't have somebody in between them going from, hey, I want to do music, to straight to a label. They don't have anybody teaching them and branding them and nurturing them. So I want what I'm representing as a company now to be in the next 5 years, just on a bigger scale.
Artist
Thank
development.
you, Crystal.
Hey.
Keep telling your story. You will pull so many heartstrings. Love that.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
love that. Absolutely love that. I'm just looking at the chat. Yo, people have been enjoying this sit down chew with Auntie Strings. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Pulling the strings.
Hey,
Yo,
you need
honest. Yes, ma'am. Honestly, like, I'm just amazed at your resilience. I'm amazed at hearing your story, because it always don't turn out like that. You know what I'm saying? It always don't turn out like that. Everybody don't always got to put their kids somewhere and get them back. People don't always sleep in their car and get out the car. People don't always get on a drug or whatever like that and get off of them. You know what I'm saying? I know more stories. I'm from the city. I'm from D.C., so we know how it ends up being.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So you're definitely
Especially here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Especially there.
Yes. Oh, mentally.
Man, it's
the love I got for my kids is really what pulled me out of that dungeon. I promise you, because just the thought of my kids growing up, going through what I went through growing up, because my mama never got us back.
Yeah.
So being a black sheep, bouncing around, feeling like a black sheep, just everything just was. Even with me being the first generation high school graduate, I got a 4-year academic scholarship to UCF. I quit in like 2 months because school just wasn't for me.
Yeah. You're gonna be in the box. Yeah, but you don't need that box.
Wait on that. Again, whenever y'all want to have me back, I am ready. I have so much more to tell.
Yeah,
we need that.
Shoot.
We need a part 2 for real.
We need a part 2, because I'm gonna ask you this question, and please answer in part 2 is, has there been not, has there been forgiveness for your mother? Because again, she ain't do what you were planning on doing,
How
but
about
you know, has there, yeah,
been forgiven from the time it was happening?
right,
That is my spirit. It's my granddaddy's spirit. It's her spirit. She's a good person, but when I got on drugs or drug, whatever, it made me, and it sounds weird, much more understanding and appreciative of what she was going through. Because
wow,
it took me, I was
Shoot.
out there for a year, and I'm like, what? I want to stop, but it feels so good to not have to worry about this or think about that. I'm watching myself lose weight. I'm watching me become homeless. I'm watching all the domino effects, watching the kids get separated. But then I'm like, no, but then on the flip side, this happened to me, that happened to me, that happened to me, me and my siblings, So she was forgiven because we love her still, no matter what. To this day, I just say that without, going too much into her business. But we
yeah,
still rooting for my mama.
yeah,
Now she has a great grandchild. So I was 7 or 8 when it happened. I have kids. My oldest is 24. And now she has a great grandchild who's 5 months. So it's like, that's why I say you can either become a victim or victorious. I could have easily just became a repeat generational curse statistic. I wasn't having that.
I love that.
Man.
Read Atomic Habits as soon as you can if you haven't read it already. Atomic Habits by James Clear. It just talks about the fact that Atomic Habits by
Atomic.
James Clear. He talks about the fact that he talks about how habits are formed. It's extremely. I mean, it's so powerful for consultants, coaches, all of that, artists, what in many different fields.
Yeah.
But he says something really interesting in the book. Is that he said that. He said a lot of people went over to Vietnam back in the 60s and they got strung out on heroin, right? Because they were trying to cope
Yeah.
with all that stuff.
Yeah.
He said about 67, 70-something% of the people who got strung out on heroin came back, got off heroin. I never heard that before because I'm like, once you own it, you're
But
going to be
why
on it.
that? Because the sensationalism around people who beat something isn't as cool as the sensationalism of the people who can't beat it. It sounds it adds more of a story to look at all these people that are on drugs, look at all these people who are murderers,
Right.
look at all these people who are robbers. That sounds way better than the vindicated story. So that's why you never heard of those who beat it.
Oh no, 100%.
Damn.
100%. So what I was saying about the book, is that people were in an environment that they were used to, and that's what ends up happening is that they left that environment where the heroin was where it was, and they came back into an environment where it was not. That's why I realized, I was like, yo, a lot of people who I know who might have been blessed to even get to go to rehab, they go to rehab, come back out, they go back to their same environment, and they back on it again. That's
That's
our brains are
bad.
hardwired to do that.
That's so true.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Man, like for real when you think about it, because they really are getting put right back in what first got them there. That's true.
And yeah. And I thought about that, and I'm just like, it may be possible, but it might not be possible. I don't even know. But a part of that, you said what?
I said with my mom,
Yeah.
we've tried it all. So sometimes
Take it up.
we're not giving up ever. Never.
Right.
My brother just talked about that the other day. Like we're never giving up. And it's just sometimes it's just a matter of the person. And I say that just because I've been there. I can speak to and attest to it because I was there.
Right.
Or a kid growing up, oh my God, I can't believe you. Why don't you leave that stuff alone? Yeah, all of that because you don't understand it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to speak my truth to people about everything I've gone through. Because now when I'm telling you something that I don't think is good for you, I'm coming to you from a place of where I've been there. So I'm more relatable to you than somebody who ain't been there.
You have to walk that path.
Listen to me versus some church lady or some church man or some representative of the state or some Department of Justice individual. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to hear from somebody that really can resonate with you. Every time I speak and tell my story of my life and my journey and how they go together and how I managed to make them work, I love doing that because it's too many people out here who don't get to hear all of that. They only go, I just spoke at an event yesterday. It was a women's empowerment event. And shout out to all the ladies on the panels, the keynotes, everything. But the people that hear me speak, I'm going to tell you exactly what the hell I've been through.
Right. Right. Because people don't want to, there's a certain level of vulnerability, but we forget that vulnerability is attractive.
Yeah.
They would come
you know,
God, thank you so much. I used to be ashamed to tell people I was a felon. And, oh, I was ashamed to this. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to tell my daughter about your little 90-day thing you did. You know, like, it's just, I love you too.
It goes back. It's interesting because it goes back to what you were saying earlier, how being on social media could be easy. It's easy for people to perceive you as a polished product. However, when you're vulnerable, it's different. People get to see the true version of yourself, you know?
Yeah. But if you go down my
nobody can
page, I got mug shots on there. I got my story on there. Like,
Oh, you mean on the website?
No, on my
on your IG?
IG.
Go through my Instagram, you'll see my mug shot. And then there's one post where it's a slide. It tells like a little bit of pretty much what I just told y'all. So here you go. That's why I feel like people just resonate with me because this lady is being so real.
Nah, that's 100% like, and gosh, I don't know. I mean, like it's just been a really amazing, and it's 4:30 because it's 4:30, but Stryngz, it's been absolutely amazing. We have got to have you back because this is the type of environment that, that Max and myself are trying to, again, foster. And we're trying to make sure that we're connected with other people and other people are connected with us so that, if somebody's like, yo, I'm doing this, I need to do that, so on and so forth. I'm like, oh, we know somebody who's going to actually take care of you. Right. And not kind of put you through the rings of, you come massage my feet and do something strange for some change for me to get you to that specific level. Right. And I'm just like, I can't be bothered with that because again, my integrity, the way my integrity bank is set up is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that we have we'll have to make an account for all of the stuff that we do on this earth when we leave here. So we need to leave empty and leave with a good conscience.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Anyways.
Whenever y'all want to spin the block, I'm here. I really appreciate you guys. As you can see, I ain't even know who, what, when, where, why. I'm open whenever anybody invites me to talk. I'm like, sure, if I could fit it in my schedule, let's do it.
We're so blessed to have you fit it in your schedule. And that's the important part is to have planning and to have a schedule to do. If you all over the place and you don't know what you're doing, then that's frustrating.
Yeah.
All out.
Yeah, she's not playing.
Yeah, I have to man, because it started getting so all over the place. So I got organized chaos this week and then the calendar. So it's like.
How far in advance do you plan?
I have April 23rd on here.
Okay.
April 22nd, April 23rd, 2 things on April 23rd, something on June 11th, May 10th. So as it all comes in, it's out.
Yeah. Because I read this book. It's called The 10 Distinctions Between, it's a short book, 10 Distinctions Between Millionaires and the Middle Class. And they said that rich people thinking in increments, or middle class people thinking like month to month, rich people think in increments of a year, and very wealthy people think in increments of 10 years. Decades. So they map out 10 years. And when you think about these major, because that's really all honestly, we can look at these major companies and major labels and just duplicate what they're doing on a smaller scale with the budget that we have. Yeah. But they're already running the plays and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, but it does take that sitting down. And again, like I'd be so creative, and some of us are so creative, and it's like I don't want to sit down but you know, I want to be in the flow of things. But it's like, look, like if you're structured and you're planned, you can have more room for if the flow takes you somewhere. But then once that flow over, then there's a really big drop once people like myself, once we've been in the flow, and then that's it, and we ain't planning for nothing else after that. There's this really big drop that can lead you into like even almost a depressive sort of state because you ain't had nothing else planned involved. So
like going, but I also try to map it out so I can see it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's right here in my desk, right there. I can see what I need to have going on and what I need to. So today I knew I had y'all. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go take the girls to brunch, come back, and be prepared for this. Now I'm about to get off with y'all and go to the pool because I don't work on Saturday and Sundays. I just had to do that for myself because I was making myself look. We going into a whole nother segment of the interview, but I was just making myself too easily accessible. That's another thing you can't do, and
that is
real
imperative.
I pulled back that accessibility from people and started making myself more exclusive, and also elevates your value by doing that. So
and I wanted just to say that, like, because my faith and my culture, Messianic Hebrew Israelites, right? So we observe the Shabbat and stuff like that. But even still, it's like I grew up Christian, so we would do church, but sometimes it wasn't all day, and then I get right into business and stuff like that. But it's like, listen, like, let's just model ourselves. We said that we're gods and stuff like that, right? The actual scriptures in Psalms chapter 68, verse 4, it does say, yea, are gods. But you're not the Most High, though. You're not the Most High, but you are gods, though.
Because we're
point is
image, of course.
Exactly. So it's imperative to have those rest days. I'm like, people who just doing 7 to 7, 24/7. I'm like, you are going to be burnt out because that's not how your body was set up. I don't care if it's a Saturday, if it's a Monday, if it's a Wednesday or Sunday. Take an actual day.
Yeah.
Everybody take an actual day and let people know during business. Listen, this is my day. Just like Chick-fil-A, take a day. You take a day and don't make no movements and recharge.
Yeah.
You know?
This was like, I wanted to honor this interview. So, but this is separate from me working. So yesterday I was working from 8 to 8 last night. It was fun. I enjoy it. But today was like more on a candid vibe where we sitting back. I'm chilling in here. I ain't doing all the bells and whistles, makeup, lashes, all that crap.
Yeah.
Hate makeup. And I'm just about to go right now, go to the pool with my daughter because she just got in trouble. But I'm about to take her to the pool.
She got 5 minutes out on the side. Listen, you got in trouble, so 5 minutes out on the side.
And I said, hold on 1 minute when I told y'all, okay. But I'm about to go. We're going to sit by the pool, and we're going to talk about the whys and the why nots, and our parent.
Love it.
Oh, I love that. It got choppy at the end, but you said the whys and what?
The whys and the why. I'm about to go sit with my daughter by the pool and discuss the whys and why nots of her trouble that she got.
Right. Very imperative because if we pass away, like, if we happen to pass away, we don't make it out this week. We have to know that we have given our children a wealth of like common sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Being able to navigate through life.
Yeah. Like I'm not one of them people that's big on you in trouble, go to your room and no. I used to make my oldest 3 write essays. I don't like beating kids, none of that crap. I'm not auntie, that's why everybody love me. But I would literally make them write why they shouldn't do it, why they won't do it, and what can they do the next time. For the most part, they're pretty good kids. Like the first year of graduates, my one son, he's good too, but he's still learning his way, going through growing pains. My baby girl, she's going through that now too. And I'm just saying, I feel like that's another thing as far as in our culture. We just want to beat and send away, punish without giving a resolution.
A resolution.
Getting to the bottom of to where they can understand why they shouldn't do something or what they could have done differently and why they don't have to do this. So
it's a lack of rehabilitation.
Before you go, Could you say, how much time we have left in case we
Oh,
save it?
Time
Yeah,
now?
that's important.
oh, word.
Hey, we got to say this.
Yeah, save it because we don't want to disconnect this.
All right, yeah. So
Okay.
We'll go ahead and
we'll
get
just
off.
yeah,
All
we'll go ahead and get off. Stryngz,
Send me the link
amazing.
so I can post it.
I definitely will.
All right. Thank y'all for
appreciate you.
having me. I'll see y'all again.
Blessings, honey.
Love.
Peace.
Does it say?
All right.
Because
No,
sometimes you don't see it, huh?
No, it says it's good. It says it's good from what I see.
Oh,
But we'll see. Guys, again, Soundboard Sundays episode 43 is down. You can check Stryngz out at, is it at STRYNGZ?
Actually, I see.
Stryngz me. STR, are you about to put it in the chat?
Yes.
STRYNGZME. Stryngz me. Please connect with this sister, guys, because again, just at least shout her out and say, yo, I appreciate you spending your time, appreciate the energy that you bring, and again, that's what we're gonna be doing. That's what we're gonna be doing. Max,
Man,
I will see you, most high willing, man, next Sunday, bro.
appreciate you, man. Love.
Yeah, likewise. Peace.